Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
It's a matchup to get excited about. It's a day you don't want to miss. It's the New Mexico Bowl, the first game of the college football season. 23rd-ranked Utah State brings their 10-2 record to Albuquerque to take on the high-flying North Texas Mean Green, who are 9-3. Two of the nation's best offenses, two terrific teams in one of the country's most exciting games. Make sure you are there Saturday, December 15th, high noon at Dream Style Stadium. Get tickets at the box office at the Pit by calling 925-5999 or visiting NewMexicoBowl.com. This one will be fantastic. The New Mexico Bowl, where bowl season begins.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or DreamStyleRemodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
My car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car?
Morning, everybody, and welcome to Red Menace TV here on Proview Network's Leroy Lucero, along with Michael Carlisle. Michael, you survived last night. You were up late, well, up late for us old people, at the Lobo basketball game in the Pit, watching what? A good game. It was a good game, kind of. I mean, not if you're a Lobo fan. It was still a good game. It was just, how do you go up by 17 and then lose?
Well, because you let Colorado go on a 14-0 run.
Yeah, but you were running and gunning as well.
No, and we're talking the first half here. Then the Lobos go on an 11-0 run. But then Colorado closes the half on a 5-0 run. to get it back down a little bit.
Right.
Look, it was a good game, and the Lobos certainly had their opportunities. They lost to a better team last night.
All right, let's talk about this Lobo basketball team because I think it's right now Lobos are deep in a 3-game losing streak.
Yep.
One thing I can say is the last 2 games were blowouts, 165 to New Mexico State, followed by an 85-60 smoking at St. Mary's, or actually that was the Staples Center. And then finally last night losing in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit, 78-75 to Colorado on ESPN2. Definitely, you can hear the frustration in Coach Weir's face. You're there at the post game there at least last night. But even listening to some of the interviews with Hunter Green on 770, you can hear the frustration in Paul Weir's voice, and I think some of the players as well.
I don't know how the players are certainly disappointed. I don't mean to insinuate otherwise. I don't think, though, that anybody has the frustration that Coach Weir has right now, and certainly he's bothered by this. It's not what anybody wants to hear, but you just got to keep going out there and getting better. The schedule certainly turns more favorable for the Lobos from here until the start of conference play. You've got a lot of home games. You've got a lot of competition that's maybe not your rival, maybe not quite St. Mary's. So, plus you get Carlton Bragg back on Sunday. So while you've lost 3 in a row, you're 500 now. I still think there's still positive things ahead. And again, for the Lobos and how most fans judge the season, this is all going to come down to Vegas in March.
And, honestly, before the season started, did you think anything different? Was it going to come down to the 3 games in March?
Look, you always want to play your best.
Sure, of course.
Sure. But realistically, even though, with Nevada being well, certainly the Mountain West is on an uptick, but it's still probably a 1-bid league.
Right. Unless
Nevada somehow rolls through the season but stumbles in the Mountain West tournament. That's probably the only way you're getting 2 teams from the Mountain West into the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, it's always going to, it was always going to come down to March, and that's something that's still attainable. Now, you've got work to do, but that's something that can still be very attainable.
So watching, and I know we're not the basketball coach, and I know Coach Weir, what are your thoughts on this team? I mean, right now, what do you see as an issue, just watching from an outsider? Though I did see you on the sidelines last night. There was Bill Walton, of course. Everyone made a big stink about that. But I was like, hey, there's my boy Michael Carlisle right there.
Yeah, never mind that Bill Walton guy.
Yeah. I don't want to hear about his and all that nonsense. I just want to see Michael Carlisle on the sideline there looking like that. Looking really like studying everything. It looked like you were studying film and the game more than Bill Walton was.
Yeah, defense. And look, opposing guards give the Lobos problems. And you saw that again last night. Colorado's, their guards were able to take the ball to the basket. Turnovers were an issue early. They only had 9 turnovers last night. I think, that's something they've worked on. The rebounding is an issue, but that might always be an issue. But you don't have to necessarily have the discrepancy that you've had the last few games. But I think the main thing is defense. They had struggled with their shot the last couple of games. That's going to happen from time to time. They shot much better last night. Mathis, I think, was 7 of 10 from 3-point range. So he found his touch again. Defense and just continuing to gel as a team. It's year 2 under Paul Weir, but keep in mind, you only had, 4 players back from last year, 5 players back from last year. So you've still got a lot of new faces. And it's going to, obviously it's going to take a little while for everybody to come together.
I said it after the New Mexico State game. I didn't get to see the St. Mary's game, as I don't think anybody did, as that was a absolute disaster.
That was dropping $30 to watch that game.
Yeah. And not only that, I think the feed was kind of a joke too, was it not? I saw a lot of complaints that people weren't able to see the entire thing because of the feed was a mess. So I didn't get to see that, but it sounds like the same thing. And then even last night on the Colorado game, I see the same issues that I've seen. This team's soft. They're soft offensively. They're soft defensively. Watching Jackson throw up shots where these are bunnies, and he throws up these little floaters that are just being beat right back down into his face. I mean, they were blocked. There was multiple times where he was down around the rim, and rather than attack the board or attack the rim, he's just throwing up these little shots that are just getting smashed back. I like Ezzedine. I think he has I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I am, right? Kareem Ezzedine. I like his game, but he's a little soft too. He attacks a little bit more than the rest. Pinchuk once again, and I think he's a big guy. He's got a body. He can push. He could push people around, but he elects to really, when he shoots, it seems like he's fading or hook shotting. Everything's like off of the basket, not attacking the rim. I think that's brutal. You mentioned the defense. Defense, they don't attack. I mean, they definitely go for the taps or the deflections and that. And I do like the press, but it doesn't seem like they're very physical. And I think that softness comes back and bites them in the ass.
Defensively, I don't think it's so much that they don't attack. It's just that they're vulnerable to guards driving to the basket, and that is something that certainly hurt them. I get what you're saying on offense, but that's more of a product of the style they play.
Right.
Shooting
yeah,
a lot
absolutely.
of threes, that's not conducive to a physical style. Pinchuk is a work in progress.
He's good though. I think he's good.
I think he has a lot of potential, but he wasn't asked to score last year.
Right.
And when you're making an effort, and they made efforts at time last night to work the ball in and try to get the inside game going a little bit. I don't know that he's 100% comfortable doing that just yet, and I think that showed at times. But like you mentioned,
it's not just him though.
No,
I mean it's all of them. And you're right. The 3-point game. I've always hated the 3-point game, and the reason I do is because it does soften you.
But you like the peach basket and having to get a
no,
ladder.
I do.
After
I
every
like
basket
attack.
and get the
I
ball
like attack,
out
and I like attacking the rim. I like physical basketball. I think that's the way it's supposed to be played. I don't think it's supposed to be trying to set up a 3-point shot and bombing away. Reason being, and I think the Lobos are a perfect example of that, you can get hot and cold very easily. And if you're cold, it's really cold. The other thing is with those long shots constantly, nobody's in position for rebounding. If you try to body up for the rebounds always come long, so that gives the defender the advantage. The defensive rebounds the advantage.
Sure.
And I've never liked that style of basketball. I know it's exciting when it's hot. There is no doubt about it. I mean, Mathis was on fire early on, and I totally get that. However, I think without an inside game, without being able to attack the rim, without a strong rebounding presence, without that physicality, I think the Lobos are in trouble for the rest of the season. It makes them like every other team.
Well, no, it's a little different than that. Look, when you live by the three, there are going to be times that you die by the three. That's why you saw them trying to work on the inside game last night and get that going, because you can't be just solely dependent on the 3-point game. I don't think they're just the same as everybody else. I think that now defensively, they have issues, for sure, and we've talked about that. But again, it's more of working on what you do and getting better at that. I think getting Bragg on, he'll be back on Sunday,
right?
Or he'll be his first game on Sunday. I think that's going to help. And there've been a lot of people. Well, then you're going to have to work him in, and everybody get used to playing with him. Well, he's been practicing the whole time,
right? And if he's a physical presence. If he's a physical presence, get him in. I mean, immediately, because you need that. And I honestly, I think if you have that mentality, because I think that's a mentality. I don't think that's necessary. I think Pinchuk could be physical. I think Ezzedine has had flashes of that. But you need someone to kind of push them over that edge.
Here's the other thing from last night, and I'm not going to go. And I love Mike Roberts. I'm not going to go all Mike Roberts here.
The ghost of Mike Roberts. Here we go.
Colorado went to the free throw line 32 times. The Lobos went 14. The Lobos are one of the nation's leaders in getting to the free throw line. They only got there 14 times last night. I'm not saying it was the referee's fault, but I'm just saying when you have that much of a discrepancy.
So watching the game on television, as opposed to being there, I could tell you Colorado was extremely aggressive. Extremely aggressive.
Teams will draw
much more aggressive than UNM. Everything that I can't remember the little what's his name, Bay was one of the guards. I can't remember who the other guard was. They would attack. They would break down. Lobos were definitely falling for that pump fake, and then they would penetrate. And as soon as they penetrated, they were in there getting fouls. You're going to get fouls like that. If you're sitting there for the 3-point shot, you're not going to get as many. However, like you said, I say that, but then like you said, UNM's pretty good at getting to the foul line. They weren't last night, but I don't think they were super aggressive last night either. And I think that it showed, and I think it showed as the game rolled on. I think UNM in the past, now I'm talking the whole history of UNM basketball that I can remember, they've always been that physical up and down, and most of these teams that come from lower elevations, granted Boulder is not a lower elevation, but they run out of gas, and UNM can basically run them off the court in the second half.
It's funny you said that because I was sitting there last night, I'm like, doggone, Colorado's not running out of gas. What's going on? Then I'm like, oh, wait, that's right. Their elevation is as high as ours, if not a little higher.
Exactly.
So
yeah, they weren't going to run out of gas. And I think we're used to that here as Lobo fans.
Sure.
People don't really pay attention to that here. They just assume that that's the way that's the way the Lobos play. But the reality is those teams come up here and they get gassed. And when they do, for them, that's when the reaching starts, and that's when their feet aren't moving as fast, and they're holding their hips and that sort of stuff, and the UNM's able to take advantage of that. They haven't been able to do that this year. Part of that, obviously, Colorado's different, but I think the other thing is they're not as aggressive as they were, and that's fine. I mean, that's something that that's his style. That's the way he's going to play. So you're going to live and die with the three, like you said. The other thing that was crazy, and this is obviously this is picking on Coach Weir. This is picking on the team. At the end of the game, why do you have Anthony Mathis with 4 fouls having to be there when you know you have to foul?
In case you get the steal. You don't have to. You don't have to burn a timeout. You can set something up and try to catch them off guard, because if you get the steal in the backcourt, they've got a lot of guys that were back deep. You have the advantage. I hear you. It didn't work out well because the guy who wound up getting the ball was the guy Mathis was guarding. There was 7 seconds left, so you didn't have time for someone else to come over and commit the foul. He had to commit the foul.
Right, and honestly, at the end of the game, who do you want jacking up that 3?
Oh, Mathis.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was a killer. And maybe you're right. Maybe that's just the flow of the game, and that's the way it worked. But gosh, you're playing for the foul. They're going to foul.
Sure.
That's it. Even if you get a steal, you hit the layup, you're going to foul again right away.
Well, I think with Mathis out there, if you get the steal, depending on where he's at, he takes a couple of steps back and
tries to drill the 3. Jackson had an open look. He was running, and it was. It was a bad shot. No, but he had an open look. You can't.
Somebody had to take the shot. Right. You didn't have a lot of time to move the ball around
already.
Sure, absolutely.
So he is a good second, third option. If you don't have Mathis out there, who was your primary option, Kuiper is also another option. Obviously, he didn't have the ball. Jackson had the ball, and he had a wide open look at the. Now, granted, he was rushing and everything else. I totally get it. But, that was a rough one. Hey, why don't we take a quick break? We'll talk a little bit more and see where the show takes us, huh? We'll be back right after this.
Nice dish to Clark underneath. Get that out, said Garcia. Baker back out to Barrett for 3. Got it!
Over to Gutierrez. Euro step is rejected emphatically by Nielsen. Here comes Baldonado. They got a 3-on-1, and Brown says, "Get it out!" Cumber intercepts. VNA on the fast break now. He's got 2-on-1 on the bounce to get it back to Cumber underneath. Oh, what a pretty move.
Pick and roll at the top of the key. Amir's got a step, and Amir's going to go all the way and count it.
There's a drive underneath. Okoro! Thank you very much.
It was stripped away out in front. It's Blankenship, and he's got a wide open lane. No, he's going to put it down on the left hand.
Away.
At Gala Chevrolet, our master technicians service every make and model no matter where you purchase your vehicle. But that's not all. We also provide certified service on every GM model. So if your car's been acting a little funny lately or something just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Bring it in to the most modern service facility in the entire state and let us make sure that you're driving a vehicle you and your family can depend on. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
This is Coach Borrego of the Charlotte Hornets. Hello to all you parents out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to congratulate 38 years for the AYBL. You guys are doing a great job. You've shaped a lot of lives, young men and women, and you'll continue to do that. Parents, get involved, sign your kid up. It's a great program. It helped shape who I am today, helped shape me as a basketball player, as a coach. So get out there, sign them up. Have a great season. Good luck to everybody.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud support.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. We had a huge weekend of combat sports action last weekend. Started off with LFA 56. Austin Hubbard gets a last second stoppage. Almost was going to be a unanimous decision because the ref seemed to have wanted to just let the fight go on forever. Horrible stoppage up there, but Hubbard, who I was able to talk to before the fight, hands Killie's-Moto his first loss and becomes the LFA lightweight champion. We had boxing also this past weekend. On Saturday night, you saw a surgical performance on ESPN where Lomachenko is able to unify the lightweight titles of the world. You also this weekend saw a lot of action on DAZN where you had Combates America with their Copa Combate tournament. It was in the featherweight division. You had to win 3 fights, $100,000 to the winner, and New Mexico's Andreas Quintana does come out victorious in that effort. 2 TKOs and a decision victory. We're actually going to be talking to him in just a minute, but I also want to tell you guys about Angelo Leo remains undefeated in Las Vegas, a unanimous decision victory. fighting under the Mayweather promotion banner at the Sin City Showdown at Sam's Town Live in Las Vegas. This past week, we also had reaching the finals out in Utah at the Junior Olympic tournaments was Abraham Perez and Shariah Maru. So a lot of things happened this past weekend in combat sports, not to mention the UFC event. UFC 231, Max Holloway, a brilliant performance against Brian Ortega. Holloway cementing himself as the featherweight champion once more with his second consecutive title defense. Valentina Shevchenko is now the women's flyweight champion, overwhelming Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Now we look forward to this weekend. More big boxing action coming up. Canelo Alvarez, his debut performance on DAZN. In the MMA world, you have Bellator bringing 2 events from Hawaii, Friday and Saturday. Friday night, Brett Primus defends his lightweight title for the first time against Michael Chandler. And on Saturday, you have Alimale McFarland, the Hawaiian, the reason that these events are in Hawaii, defending the women's flyweight title against UFC vet Valerie Letourneau. Don't forget also on Fox, The End of an Era, the last UFC on Fox event, UFC on Fox 31, takes place from Milwaukee. The main event, Al Iaquinta versus Kevin Lee. So there's tons of stuff to be on the lookout to watch this upcoming weekend. A lot of stuff at cageminds.com to keep up with. And I said we had a guest this week, so let's get to it right now. He won the Copa Combate tournament last Friday. Andres the Bullet Quintana, $100,000 richer. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I feel like $1 million.
Man, how big is that trophy, actually? That thing looks enormous if you look on Instagram.
Yeah, man, that thing's about, it's supposed to be 4.5 feet tall, so it's around here, you know. So pretty tall, you know. It's all made of pure gold, and, you know, I'm super excited to represent America, you know, an amazing country.
Did you try to pick that thing up yet?
I didn't, man. I was so beat up from all 3 fights, you know, that day. I had a really rough bracket, you know. We had a few sleepers in my bracket, and I was just super beat up. I mean, I basically went into the finals on 1 leg, so no, I did not try to pick that thing up. Things like 80 pounds, I believe.
All right, so the first fight, 1 round, 5 minutes, you went out there and you let your hands just go. You're boxing, a lot of fast combinations. Tell us about the game plan, that first one.
Honestly, the game plan was to take this guy down. He's supposed to be a pretty decent striker, you know. But, you know, it just didn't work out the way we planned. So we have plans A, B, C, D, all the way, you know. We're always going to come out victorious. So we went out there and we boxed with them since we couldn't land no takedowns.
One of the sleepers was who you fought in the next round, that second round. What was it also the thought of preparing for the 3-minute round? You haven't done that since an amateur. Did it feel like you were going to be a little more rushed come that second and third round?
No, not too much. I just felt like the time will be shorter, obviously, but I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to do what I got to do. And, you know, I try and win every minute, every second of that fight, of that round as well.
Little bit of a heart-taking moment there in the second fight. Kennedy connects with a big overhand. He was coming with some wide shots. You went down for a second.
Yeah.
Tell us about that second fight.
You know, I'm a veteran. I've been hit. I've been clipped before. And, you know, I just kept my composure and I did what I had to do. You know, looked for my underhook, worked to I kind of stalled a little bit. He was throwing really wild and none of those punches connected clean. So I knew I'd be fine. So I was just, you know, thinking to myself, all right, just buy yourself a little bit of time, recover. I have a great, amazing cardio. We train up here in Albuquerque in high altitude. And, you know, we'll get up and we'll kind of reset and, you know, we'll take it to him now.
And what was the finishing combination? That was some beauty.
So he was breaking off of a clinch and I hit him with a right uppercut and left hook and I put him out.
He drops down to the ground. A little bit of controversy there. What were your thoughts after the fight, seeing just the commotion going on inside the cage?
No, I thought I was
trying to get away.
No, not really. I thought I was going to have to fight again. I was like, anyone comes out, I'm going to sock their ass too.
A little bit of a tenuous moment there, obviously, but nobody said anything to you, right?
No, not to me personally. I think they were more upset with the ref, but honestly, the ref, I think he did a good job. You know, the guy was in like on an outside single. He didn't even have the single correctly. He was like wrapped around my leg. And I was just landing big shots, you know, over and over. It was not going to get any better for him, I promise you that. I'm a finisher, and I was going to finish that fight no matter what.
And then, as you correctly predicted, in the finals, you fought Alejandro Flores. That's what you had told me 2 weeks prior, what you expected to happen. You get to that fight. Walk us through that finals. It looked like he came out with some big body kicks.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, and I don't know, everyone thinks I got a weak body for some reason, I guess because Adrian Diaz landed a real nice body shot and, you know, kind of hurt me with the body shot as well. So I guess everyone tries to default to that. I think like my past 8 fights, everyone's tried to body kick me and it hasn't worked yet, you know. So he goes out there and tries to throw a few body kicks. You know, I think 2 good ones land decent, you know. I'm like, all right, and I move around, making sure my elbow's down, making sure I'm good. I feel like I'm outboxing him. I drop him with a jab like in the first 30 seconds, I believe. After he gets dropped with the jab, he stumbles a little bit, he gets up, we get back to boxing, and he throws another body kick, and I'm kind of like backed against the fence, and I'm kind of like leaning in. I think he's gonna throw a big overhand right. I like to shoulder roll a lot, and it works well for me. And he just keeps on like putting too much pressure, and I was like, all right, this spinning elbow is set up already, so I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna try and take his head off with it, and I did.
And then that right elbow over there spins around as he's crouching kind of back to the cage and perfectly to the temple. I mean, have you landed one that clean before?
Oh yeah, yeah. In training, I landed one of those spinning elbows in training, very similar. One of my training partners throwing a big overhand right too. I kind of shoulder rolled it and spun right off of that. Yeah, I mean, it's not luck. Everyone says it's luck and that could never happen again. But I mean, you look at some of my past fights, I hit Levy off of the cage with a beautiful spinning elbow, pretty similar as well. You know, it's not luck, and we've trained our asses off for this, and I've been doing this for the spinning elbow for like 3 or 4 years, you know. I mean, I've perfected it.
So can you tell everybody what that moment felt like when you won, when you're exploding in joy everywhere?
To be honest, it was relief. It was kind of relief. I put so much pressure on myself, and I want to make everyone proud and represent my state and my country well, obviously. So I was super excited and just happy that I was able to go out and perform the way I did. And I didn't want no decisions. You know, I got my first fight was a decision, but I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to prove I was the best, like I tell everyone.
You wanted this pressure from the moment you signed with Combate Americas. Yeah. You've been telling me in every interview we've had, I'm the best guy here. They need to give me the title already. Was it a little bit of a pressureful situation? You know, you were the #1 seed. You were the face on the DAZN app when we clicked to play the event. Did some of that pressure, did you feel it come the tournament?
Of course I'm going to be the face on the DAZN app. Everyone else is ugly shit.
But did you feel that kind of pressure going into the fight?
I always feel pressure. I put pressure on myself, not from anyone else. It's always from me. I feel like I want to be perfect, you know. I want to prove everyone that I'm the best, and I feel like I did. And I'm always, no matter what, if I'm even fighting locally, if I fight on a small undercard, if I'm fighting in front of 2-3 people, I'm always going to put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself because I know what I can achieve and I know what I'm capable of.
Do you look back on that night and think that was that crazier than what you expected? 3 fights in one night?
Honestly, it was like a movie. It was literally like a movie. It was like a fairy tale ending, and it was insane. And I do not recommend anyone to fight 3 times in one night in a tournament ever.
So this is the second time that Combates America did this Copa Combate. I expect they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
You're not in favor of signing up again?
No, that was a rough one, to say the least. You know, yeah.
Now that we have the victory, though, behind us, what's next for Andreas Quintana?
I'm fighting for a title. I'm going to get my title, and I will win. I'm going to probably fight here. It looks like it.
So it looks like we'll finally get the first Copa Combate, or the Combate America event here in New Mexico. And of course, fittingly, you'll be in the main event, and you expect that fully to be the featherweight title fight?
It will be the featherweight title fight because it's in my contract, first of all. You know, and second of all, I'm 8-0, and there's no damn way they can deny me.
Well, better than, you know, having it already signed. At least he has it in his contract, right? You've learned some stuff as a professional then, obviously.
Yeah, I have a great management team. You know, I signed with Epoch. My manager is AJ, and he does an amazing job, you know. So we put, you know, stuff into our contract. We have a very exclusive contract compared to everyone else with Combate.
It's been a long, wild ride. Talk a little bit about it for us, going from the roots, from where you started, from where these dreams first began so many years ago.
You know, I was younger, and I was playing football, and I was like, damn, man, I don't really like team sports. I kind of want to rely on myself more instead of the team. So we, my Uncle Joe, actually, my grandpa had passed away, and so I was really mad, upset, and stuff. So he had a little boxing bag in the back of his yard, and he's all, oh, come and try this, you know, let out some frustration and hit this bag. And so I would hit the bag and stuff. I was like, damn, I kind of like this. I like punching, and you know, this is fun. So we kind of looked for a local gym, and we found my first trainer ever was Edward Vigil, and he was a local New Mexico boxer. He competed in Golden Gloves and had a huge amateur record and career, and you know, he helped me out, you know, a few months, and then I took my first fight in Roswell, probably like 5-6 months later, somewhere around there, and you know, I knocked the guy out in the first or second round, and I just put him out, put him to sleep, and I just been addicted ever since. I could not get enough of it.
When was the first time you dreamt of being a world champion?
Before I even stepped into the ring, ever. I would watch a lot of Muhammad Ali, and I just saw how charismatic he was, and how sure of himself he was, and just like, you got to say you're the best and believe you're the best to become the best, you know. And I was like, damn, he's got it all. He's a world champ. He's got all these beautiful women with him. He's got all this money. I mean, shit, that could be me one day. And you know, there's nothing stopping me. So I pursued it.
And what has it meant? You changed your life. You moved all the way up here. Talk a little bit about that, the move, and also the relationship with Chris Luttrell. You guys have been together for what, 4 different gyms, I believe, or buildings at least?
Yeah, I think so, and that's a span through, I believe, 8 years or so. You know, I was fighting amateur. I had a great amateur record. I had a good gym and stuff, but we were specialized in stand-up fighting, you know. So everyone would always try and take me down, so I had to learn jiu-jitsu off of my back. And one of my last amateur fights, I got interviewed by a guy named DJ San Marco, one of my good friends. He's all, hey man, you're doing great, you're doing awesome, but you're the top dog at your gym, you know. You gotta push yourself, you gotta test yourself, and you know, no disrespect to your gym or your coaches or anything, but you know, you gotta get out and you gotta find some new blood, some new people, and find, you know, learn some more, you know, grow yourself. I was like, yeah, man, you know, I sat down for a while and I thought about it. I was like, yeah, he's right. He really is right. I need to go out there and I got to branch myself out, and I need to learn some wrestling and, you know, learn different things, learn MMA as a whole, instead of going out there and just trying to knock everyone out. And if they take me down, then I'll try and submit them off my back, you know. I don't want to get beat up and punished off of my back. So we kind of, DJ's like, I know this great guy, his name's Chris Luttrell, he's an amazing coach. And you know, of course at first I'm skeptical, and I come out and I try him out, and I start learning. I'm getting smashed on the ground. I don't know, I thought I knew a lot, but I didn't know anything, you know. So I was like, shit man, this guy's legit. I think I need to make a move if I really want to make a run at this. Go to a real gym with, you know, a lot of people, a lot of training partners, because I was basically training by myself, more or less, out there. I did have training partners, but they started having families and full-time jobs and stuff, and no one pursued it like I did. And you know, it was a hit or miss. You know, we didn't know if the gym was ever going to be empty or full or what. So I just decided to make a move, come down here to Albuquerque and train, and it's worked out for the best.
Those moves have paid off. $100,000 richer, bringing a world title fight here to New Mexico. We're going to see Andres Quintana in 2019 fighting for that Combates America featherweight title. I'll be there cage side, definitely covering it. We'll be back with more Red Menace TV. Don't forget, tons of MMA and combat sports action all weekend long. CageMinds.com. You can find more interviews with Andres Quintana.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
It's a matchup to get excited about. It's a day you don't want to miss. It's the New Mexico Bowl, the first game of the college football season. 23rd ranked Utah State brings their 10-2 record to Albuquerque to take on the high-flying North Texas Mean Green, who are 9-3. Two of the nation's best offenses, two terrific teams in one of the country's most exciting games. Make sure you are there Saturday, December 15th, high noon at Dream Style Stadium. Get tickets at the box office at the Pit by calling 925-5999 or visiting NewMexicoBowl.com. This one will be fantastic. The New Mexico Bowl, where bowl season begins.
Dream Style Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dream Style Remodeling is family owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dream Style Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or DreamStyleRemodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
At Gala Chevrolet, our master technicians service every make and model no matter where you purchase your vehicle. But that's not all. We also provide certified service on every GM model. So if your car's been acting a little funny lately or something just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Bring it into the most modern service facility in the entire state and let us make sure that you're driving a vehicle you and your family can depend on. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen? No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
This is Coach Borrego of the Charlotte Hornets. Hello to all you parents out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to congratulate 38 years for the AYBL. You guys are doing a great job. You've shaped a lot of lives, young men and women, and you'll continue to do that. Parents, get involved, sign your kid up. It's a great program. It helped shape who I am today, helped shape me as a basketball player, as a coach. So get out there, sign them up. Have a great season. Good luck to everybody.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to Red Menace TV. Hey, I did want to finish up talking about Lobo basketball. Obviously, we saw the footage of the fight at New Mexico State. Corey Manigault, who has apologized via Twitter and was able to play last night. Thoughts on any of that? No big deal. Obviously, New Mexico State, they handled it in-house, which basically means they didn't do nothing.
It was a big deal, but it's also over and done with.
Right.
And, Paul Weir took his action. Manigault has apparently responded well to that because he played last night. So it wound up being, one game he missed, and you move on. I mean, there's no need to dwell on it.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, we're a week out. So.
Sure. But, I mean, as far as, the Aggies did what they felt was best, I guess, and whatever.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just wanted to bring that up. A couple of other things. You mentioned 10,000 last night, 10,800.
Yes, which is almost 11.
It's almost 11.
Closer to 11 than 10.
Rounding up. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Like you mentioned, Tuesday night on a 2-game losing streak where you've been blown out. I mean, it's more than a 2-game losing streak. Yeah. That's still pretty good. That's a nice crowd. Obviously, especially when you consider that the game was on ESPN. ESPN2. And was the Bill Walton thing overplayed? I mean, I know you didn't get to watch it, but I mean, was it overplayed?
I didn't get to watch it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's like videos of Bill Walton on Twitter of him howling.
Which were funny.
They were. I thought they were great. They were funny. Talking to the statues. I thought that was hilarious. Funny, yeah. I'm just wondering if it was a little bit overplayed. That's all. Our boy Rudy Chavez got a big shout out.
I'm just curious.
Over the air.
I'm just curious who paid for Bill Walton's pot and acid. If that came out of the athletic department budget, or that was part of Walton's per diem.
Are you saying Hector Balderas needs to open up another investigation?
No.
Is this what you're calling for, Michael Calderas? I was going to call. Is this what you're calling for, Michael? Are you calling for another Hector Balderas?
I just merely wondered aloud.
Okay, I mean,
And it was a joke for the record.
Okay,
right?
It was funny, though. I'll be honest. I thought it was pretty cool. Granted, we don't usually get on ESPN. I can't remember the last. I mean, I know it's happened a few times. But to have Bill Walton in town, he definitely made a big deal. The howling. Like I said, Rudy Chavez got a couple of really big shout-outs. Attorney at law, of course, and he got a free commercial right there. The only thing they didn't give was his phone number. You know how they have those commercials on TV? The only thing he didn't get, but to have Bill Walton comment about him being a lawyer here in town and big Lobo fan and talking about Paul Weir.
In this day and age, all you got to do is Google Rudy C. You don't even have to put in the Chavez part. Just put C.
Exactly.
He'll come right up.
I'm sure all the haters on Facebook and Twitter went nuts, and I didn't get to hear the radio show this morning on your radio station, maybe this afternoon, because of course Rudy's always, whenever you get the fan favorite, you kind of get the people that rip on you as well. So I thought Bill Walton was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to watch. The game was exciting. More exciting, I think probably the most exciting game this year, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because you could see that. I do believe the Lobos are putting it together, but like you said, this is just a better team. Colorado was a better team.
Yeah, and I do believe that. But at the same time, you had that team on the ropes. And,
you did.
And you weren't able to close
No knockout blow. There was no knockout blow, which is too bad, considering we had, what was that thing that he called it? Cabanos? Or what was that thing? Do you remember? Micah had the young man on. What was that tournament called?
The Combates Cup?
Combates Cup. Yeah. 3 fights in one night?
Yeah. That's how you know you're a man.
I mean, that's like beyond being a man. That's like you got to be like a little loco in the cabeza. Right? I mean, 3 fights in one night.
Loco in the cerveza. What?
No, well, loco in the cerveza. You need cerveza after that. Lots and lots of cerveza. In fact, in the little water bottle, there probably needs a beer. I mean, come on. 3 fights in one. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You're right. You got to be a manly man to do that. I couldn't even imagine doing one. You won't even take a share shot.
A chair child.
A chair child. Yeah, I'm having a rough time tonight. It was the Cabatas thing.
And it's morning, not night.
Are
you sure you're okay?
No. No. It's the end of the semester. I've got 2 more finals left, and my brain is shot.
You think you're in school still?
Yeah,
that's right. You are still in school.
Still in school. Anyway, so anyway, that was cool. One thing I did want to talk to you about, Michael, is because we are a week out. Last week they had the. I don't know. Do you remember back in the 90s when MTV had like MTV Unplugged and
sure.
And they would have like bands come in playing acoustic and
I'm
pretty good.
It's self-explanatory.
Right. Yeah. It kind of felt that way, kind of like a game, not a game show, but like a talk show. Bob Davey, Eddie Nunez, and select members of the media, asking questions of. And I found it kind of interesting that everyone focused on the rumor that Bob Davey doesn't live in Albuquerque. That seemed to be the big takeaway, as Bob Davey said, that indeed he did live in Albuquerque.
Well, honestly, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way. I thought Bob Davey, talked about a lot of things. I like what I heard from both guys. But I think that was the one thing that probably irked Davey the most about everything that's been said about him. Look. When you're a football coach, wins and losses, you're going to take your criticism.
Sure.
And I think Coach Davey knows that. But for him, when people say, well, you don't even live here, and he pointed out rather emphatically, not only do I live here, I brought my whole family here. My daughter lives here. My son-in-law is the operations manager for football. My son's on the staff. My grandson was born here. I'm absolutely a part of this community.
Yeah, you know what irked me?
What?
We're not changing any coaches, more than likely, unless someone leaves. We're not changing our offense. We're not changing our defense. We're just going to win.
No. I don't know what you watched.
That's what I got out of it.
They're absolutely doing things differently on defense. And I think they probably do some things differently on offense. I was a little surprised that he said he expected the staff to be intact coming back next year. Because I thought we were headed for some changes. But to be honest, and I think you're probably alluding to the defensive side of the ball more than anything, hell, that's Bob Davey's defense.
And just say this, come on, 2021. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
It's a matchup to get excited about. It's a day you don't want to miss. It's the New Mexico Bowl, the first game of the college football season. 23rd ranked Utah State brings their 10-2 record to Albuquerque to take on the high-flying North Texas Mean Green, who are 9-3. 2 of the nation's best offenses, 2 terrific teams in one of the country's most exciting games. Make sure you are there Saturday, December 15th, high noon at Dream Style Stadium. Get tickets at the box office at the pit by calling 925-5999 or visiting NewMexicoBowl.com. This one will be fantastic. The New Mexico Bowl, where bowl season begins.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or DreamstyleRemodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
At Gala Chevrolet, our master technicians service every make and model no matter where you purchase your vehicle. But that's not all. We also provide certified service on every GM model. So if your car's been acting a little funny lately or something just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Bring it in to the most modern service facility in the entire state and let us make sure that you're driving a vehicle you and your family can depend on. Service done right the first time, every time, right here at the all-new Gala Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to Red Menace TV, final segment of the day. I did want to wrap up a little bit on Lobo football, Michael. Part of the deal, and you were out for Davey Unplugged.
It wasn't Davey Unplugged. It was, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, a forum. It was a media forum.
Okay,
yes.
so it's like, I'm thinking like a defibrillator, and it's like, just unplug it. Because, I think, anyways.
Dude,
needless to...
You can either be part of the problem or part of the solution. Right now, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, the solution is, we've already discussed what the solution is. One of the things that they're trying to come up with, or that I heard, was the committee of, is it media members and fans?
No, it's, yeah, well, no, maybe there wasn't being media members on it, but media wasn't mentioned. It's faculty, it's staff, it's fans, an effort to try to encourage people to come out to games, and not just the games, but tailgate, and you know, try to make the tailgate atmosphere, well, more like a tailgate
so
atmosphere.
I'm going to say something, and this is going to sound weird, but you know it, I know it, anyone that's lived here longer than 5 years knows it. Faculty never comes out. Students have never come out. Can we stop? I know it's a college, and I understand the whole idea that, we're trying to get school spirit and stuff. They don't show up. They've never shown up for homecoming. They don't show up when there's a student section. Students do not show up. Stop focusing on the school aspect of it. You focus on it as a junior, it's the community's team.
Right, but it's not just focusing on the student aspect of it. But I believe everything you just said, that's the reason for forming the committee, to figure out ways to entice people to show up, whether it's students, whether it's, the general public.
I'll tell you what, they just fired Brad Hutchison. If they want to give me some of that money, I'll go be part of the committee. Otherwise, I'm good.
But you're part of the problem right now.
I know, and I don't mind. I'm actually part of the solution. They just don't know it. Real quick, because we only have 30 seconds, I have to give you all credit, because you knew the Dallas Cowboys were going to star. All of a sudden, they've gone from bottom of the barrel, which I thought they were, which I, as a Cowboy fan, thought they were, to now, do you start thinking maybe this might be one of the teams that can make some waves in the playoffs?
With that defense, I think they could be competitive. I've never felt so bad being right.
I know. Honest. I mean, Amari Cooper, all of a sudden that trade turns into something special. Speaking of trades, we're going to trade you off for, I think, Adam Deals next here on the network. Until next week, for Michael Carlisle and Alden, Sarah, we'll see you next week. God bless you all.